Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How Are You Getting Fucked? I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Do you have a Shark robot vacuum? Don't you have to answer, honestly. You don't have to tell me at all. I can check for myself. I can log into your vacuum using the certificate that I got from my vacuum. I can then check your device's live camera. I can check the maps in your home, and I can even get the Wi-Fi password for your home Wi-Fi, which is stored in plain text on your robot vacuum. The best part about this is that these vacuums log into Amazon Cloud with a digital certificate that Shark Ninja never locked to an individual vacuum. So a certificate that's copied from one vacuum circuit board is accepted by the cloud as valid for commands aimed at any vacuum that is on that region, which is insane. And there's a researcher that looked into this and actually let them know about it ahead of time so that you would not be able to check the camera of anybody else's robot vacuum just using your certificate. And it looks like he was ignored. This is the timeline. March 1st, he contacted Shark Ninja about a vulnerability in their products. March 11th, vulnerability details shared with Shark Ninja. On the 12th, they acknowledge receipt. On April 25th, a month and a half later, he reaches out again for follow-up status on their assessment. On the 27th, they say that the report is, quote, under review. On June 7th, they reached out to Shark Ninja again. On June 9th, the 90-day responsible disclosure period has now ended. On June 28th, he notifies Shark Ninja that he plans on publicly disclosing, which means, again, publicly disclosing means I'm going to tell hundreds of millions of people how they can view the camera of any one of your customers' vacuums if they follow my instructions. Please fix this shit. July 3rd, Shark Ninja states they will send a confirmed completion date on Friday, July 10th. July 10th, no email from Shark Ninja, and then he waits 3 extra days, and then he finally posts his blog on what he did. So he opens the robot and he gives you a little bit of some details over here. That's a Hacko 888. I used to have this thing back in the day. Getting the first certificate takes a screwdriver and one vacuum the attacker owns. The main board exposes UART pins, a debug connector, and a circuit board. The U-boot startup console asks for no password, and setting init equals bin/sh, and the boot device drops the attacker into a root shell, meaning full administrative control of the device's software, where the certificate and private key sit as ordinary files. From there, the attack is entirely in the cloud. Tokay0 found that this device certificate carried no access controls, limiting which mailboxes it could read. He subscribed to the wildcard address and watched messages flowing to and from every vacuum in his region, harvesting their serial numbers as he went. Publishing worked the same way. And the thing that gets me here is not that this occurred, it's that they knew for 3 months and did nothing. And then they told him, we're going to get back to you. Because you have to keep in mind what this is. We're not talking about a vacuum cleaner as in like you could just turn it off and on inside of somebody's house. A lot of these devices have cameras, and some of them even have voice controls when you look at the robot vacuums that are on the market today. So if you get remote control of the device, you're really talking about getting access to a camera and a microphone that is inside somebody else's home. And Shark seems to have not given 2 shits of a fuck. They didn't even contact him to say, hey, I know that we're beyond the 90 days closure period. We're trying to figure it out. We haven't gotten it yet. Can you please just give us a week or 2? Because I'm sure that this guy would have waited. And I think the reason that he's doing this is he's trying to force them into actually giving a fuck about their customers, which in my opinion, they clearly don't. Would you feel comfortable buying a robot vacuum after reading about this? Would you feel comfortable buying any Shark product after reading about this? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. One of my nonprofits, Fulu Foundation, is working to reform Section 1201 of the DMCA, which says that it is illegal to break a digital lock. And one of the problems here is that they have to fight to be able to have an exemption even for basic security research. One of the reasons that it's very important that you be able to break a digital lock to get into a device so that you could do security research is because it's very obvious from cases like this and many others that the manufacturers don't do any security research, and that when you actually do the security research for them and you let them know exactly what is wrong with their device, they don't care. And that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. What follows this point in the video is going to be an ad, so I'm going to give you time to reach into your pocket, hit pause on your phone, or just find the web browser tab and hit X so you don't have to listen to advertisements. I thought there was a fruit fly in my cup, but that was actually a bubble. And for that, I now have spilled coconut water on my shirt. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. In the last video, I was talking about looking at finding someone who may be able to help me go through my inbox and also help me with some of the deep dives I've been doing on the channel. I have always treated this channel for the past 14 years as a hobby and a fun creative outlet, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's also been a fun creative outlet. And I have found myself pulled in a number of different directions. I had the nonprofit for repair preservation group, which was trying to get right to repair passed. I have this other nonprofit, Fulu, that's working on DMCA reform. And I also just have all of my own little personal projects and things that I find fun, like going over that mayor and city council that pushed forward a data center in Taylor, Texas that was supposed to be deeded as a park. There was a lot of deep dive research that was required to find all that stuff out that I found, and that was a good 14 to 16 hours of my life that I was spending on just staring at my screen. What I'm noticing is if I want to be able to do those deep dives as much as I do, but I also want to be able to manage everything else in my life, that I would have to start treating my YouTube channel a bit more as a business that could actually hire people that would be able to help me with these things. And in order to do that, I would then have to figure out a way to actually monetize this. Now, I do not want to monetize this by selling people Raycons and bullshit products, and I don't want to start having sponsors in my videos because that would just kind of ruin it all for me, in my opinion. So I've turned on the channel members feature. Now, I'm not going to guilt you and say that you need to use this thing at all. What I'm going to do over the next few weeks is I'm going to gauge and I'm going to see how much in terms of signups I actually get. I think that having sponsors is just going to ruin the channel. It's completely off brand and it's a meme. At the same time, I tell everybody to use uBlock Origin and my CPM is essentially like 50 cents. So if I do a video that gets 200,000 views, I make about $100. That like doesn't work in the whole context of like treating it like a business to actually hire people. And while YouTube for me has always been a creative outlet and just a lot of fun, if I actually do want to be at a point where I can hire people to help with the investigative process, because I do have about 2,000 unread emails in my inbox right now, that requires money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the channel members feature, and I'm going to see over the next few weeks how this works. And if it winds up being something where a lot of people who watch this say, oh yeah, this is worth a few bucks, then at that point I will explore hiring people. If it doesn't, then at that point, we'll just go from there, and I'll just keep it as a hobby and accept the fact that I won't be able to cover all of these stories, just the ones that are of great interest to me. I'm kind of like at a crossroads where I'm trying to figure out, do I turn this into something where I do those types of deep dives into the mayor of Taylor and finding out that BWE is a pedophile and everything else on a regular basis, or do I just keep it as my hobby project that I do on my side time because I just, admittedly, I just find this stuff fun. So you're going to see that feature get turned on. I'm not going to be doing any sort of like members only videos or anything like that. I'm not going to treat it as something where there's like a different class of people that get access. It's not. I can't do that. I'm not the type of person that's going to say, you get special access to something that normal people don't. I've always wanted my content to be free and accessible to all. And again, uBlock Origin. So I'm going to be determining over the next month or two if this is something that is viable to turn into something that I can actually hire people to help with, or if it's just meant to be, a one-band fun project. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.